Right guys, we have new information regarding hole punch displays coming to the iPhone 14 Pro series, and so let's delve into it. But first, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. And with that being said, let's just tuck in. Right, so the source is the elect. These guys are display supply chain experts. They have an accuracy rating of 81%. And so yes, I do think this tidbit is pretty legit. So what exactly do they tell us? Well, they believe Samsung Displays recently acquired new manufacturing equipment to make hole punch OLED displays for the iPhone 14 Pro series. So yeah, the main thing to note is that the hole punch displays are coming to the Pro series and not the regular models. And honestly, I'm not too sure how to feel about this because on one hand, the regular and Pro iPhones in previous years have looked near identical on the front. But then again, I can understand why the 14 might be an exception because we do have a new regular max size. And so of course, for there to still be an incentive to get the Pro Max over the regular Max, Apple can give the Pro Max a futuristic hole punch display, and then of course the regular Max gets a very similar display to the 13 Pro Max with the smaller notch. But yes, it does seem from now on Apple's going to give us more exclusive features with the Pros, since of course that gets you to spend more money. Now some of you guys might be wondering that if we do get a hole punch display, where does the Face ID components go in the iPhone? Well, as Ross Young mentioned a few months ago, we should see the Face ID components under the actual display. And yes, I know some of you guys might think this might be hard to make on the scale Apple needs, and also considering the Z Fold 3's pretty subpar under display camera, does this mean Face ID is also not going to work that well under the display? Well, Ross Young clarifies on things because he says under display Face ID is way easier to make than under display selfie cameras because apparently the IR sensors aren't affected nearly as much by the yellow polyamide substrate found in flexible OLED displays going into these iPhones. And so yes, basically there should not be any technical issues with Apple putting Face ID under the display, which of course allows for a much more futuristic and modern looking hole punch display. Now of course I will be very happy if this does happen because the notch has been around for years now, and so having a different design on the front would be refreshing. But then again, having the hole punch on the front would make this iPhone near identical to the hundreds and hundreds of Android phones that already have this design. And one thing we know about Apple is that they like their designs to stand out. We saw this with the iMac, it had white bezels. We saw this with the MacBook Pro, it had a notch. And while these were pretty controversial design changes, they ultimately made the product stand out. And so yes, Apple going to the regular hole punch display we see on many phones doesn't seem very Apple-like, but then again, we are going to get to a point where all phones look the same on the front. I guess Apple has to make the iPhone stand out with the camera modules on the back, which I do think is certainly the case right now. Anyways, the last tidbits in this report is that the Pro iPhones are going to continue having a 120Hz LTPO OLED, but apparently this time they're going to get help from LG to make these displays instead of completely relying on Samsung. Anyways, tell me your thoughts on the hole punch display in the comments below. Anyways, thank you for watching guys, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Apple news and rumors. Check out the video in the card above on details regarding the iPad Pro M2, and on that note, I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya peeps.